You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Enterprises today are using hundreds of SaaS apps. Are you reaping their productivity and innovation benefits, or are you lost in the sprawl? Enter Savvy Security. They help you surface every SaaS app, identity, and risk, so you can shine a light on shadow IT and risky identities. Savvy monitors your entire SaaS attack surface to help you efficiently eliminate toxic risk combinations and prevent attacks. So go on, get savvy about SaaS and harness the productivity benefits. Fuel innovation while closing security gaps. Visit savvy.security to learn more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition N2K Cyberwire podcast. In this featured Solution Spotlight episode, N2K President Simone Petrella is talking to Deneen DiFiore about her upcoming keynote, her history with NICE, the importance of prioritizing cyber talent, and how stakeholders can more effectively address the cybersecurity skills gap.
So, Deneen, so excited to have you here today, and incredibly excited to hear that you'll be keynoting the NICE conference in June in Dallas.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very excited about talking to you today and also about the conference. It should be a wonderful event.
Now, to kick things off, I did a little bit of digging, and I see that you are not a newbie to the NICE conference. You have definitely been part of it in the past. But what first brought you into NICE's orbit, and why do you think it's important for the industry to prioritize cyber talent and workforce?
Yes. So I first, became aware and involved in the NICE efforts a few years back. And that's really because, we have a significant problem with attracting and retaining and, just kind of developing our cybersecurity workforce in pace with the threats, evolution, the digital dependencies, and kind of the state of organizations and businesses today. So was really looking for a way to help shape kind of the initiatives and influence and provide a framework, right, for myself and organizations to be able to help with that issue.
Yeah. And I think for context, would you be willing to share a little bit about your own personal journey into cybersecurity, and how has that kind of shaped your viewpoints as you look at the future of talent here?
Sure. So I am not I'll say a computer science or cybersecurity educated by school. I actually have a biology degree. So I got into technology and cybersecurity because of my experiences and kind of being there probably at the right time, right place at the right time. I mean, not discounting all the hard work that I put in. But, I had the opportunity to be in when cybersecurity was kind of evolving and becoming its own expertise and domain, to kind of grow up in that way and shape my skill sets and approach to cybersecurity. So, I had the aptitude and desire to learn. And I, at that time, back when I was doing this, there wasn't cybersecurity degrees, right? There wasn't, a big framework or, programs and curriculums to be able to be a cybersecurity professional. So it was really kind of making, my experiences and transferable skills into something that would work for the situation and jobs and roles that I was in.
Yeah. No, I have to ask, because you brought up your background and your degree in biology. And I've been in cybersecurity for 15 years, and I'm an international relations major. So sure. I'm in the same boat. But, what is your kind of advice or take when you talk to other peers or employers where now there's so much focus on finding people who either have a cybersecurity background or specific degree? And I often kind of wonder, are we losing something if we limit ourselves to now only looking at people that come from that very limited background? Because I've worked with some people who have biology degrees and history degrees and music degrees. And, it's kind of created this like amazing diversity of thought. And I sometimes worry, like, what are we doing if we're only looking for the cyber degrees?
Yeah. And I think, I agree with you. I think we have to cast the widest net to get the best talent across, many diverse backgrounds and experiences to address the skill set gap and the resource needs that we have across, the cyber security industry. So, someone took a chance on me and gave me that opportunity. So I definitely want to figure out a way to pay that back, right? And make sure that those opportunities are available for folks that do have desire and potential and enthusiasm for getting into this field. I also think, cybersecurity, I am in the same time frame as you are 15, about 19 years, 15 years in cyber particularly. And it still is nascent compared to, engineering disciplines or computer science disciplines or, even, accounting or financial disciplines, right? There's years and years and years and years of frameworks and approaches and standards that go into how you do that job. We're still figuring it out, right? So I think allowing people with that potential and even transferable skill sets, because context matters. If you know how the organization or the business operates in whatever particular domain, you may be a procurement or third party procurement analyst, risk analyst. You probably could come into cyber very easily with that risk management, supplier vendor risk management hat on and learn the specific skills around cyber. And you just add that to your, add to your toolkit and be able to perform well. So being able to cast that net pretty wide, leverage potential and different experiences, and bring that back into cyber, I think is a recipe for success. And I know a lot of organizations are starting to do that now.
Yeah. I love that perspective, especially I would imagine in the aviation industry where it's just, such a different business context. And, would you be willing to share some of like, how are you guys thinking about those types of initiatives within United? And how do you overcome the balance or the need of, you want the experience in those roles, but then if there's not enough, you kind of have to put in the time to maybe take someone who has the business context and perspective, but then teach them how to be successful in a cyber role?
Yeah, so we've leaned into that at United, and we have an overarching strategy at the business level, right? To whether it be attracting talent and training folks to be a pilot, right, and giving them the training and skill sets and experiences they need to grow in that expertise and then come on to United. We have programs like that, and we have one particularly in digital technology. It's called Innovate, and there's a cyber Innovate pathway in that program. So we're able to bring not only just entry level or college graduates into that program, but say a mid-career person that worked in airport operations or in tech ops engineering and has a desire to learn the cyber skills. We bring them into that program, and they get rotations, in different domains of cybersecurity and technology, and then they're able to also pair that experiences with training. Technical training and skills mastery. So we give them, whether it be course training online or in instructor-led training. And then we also provide a chance to get them credentialed and certified in some of the different cybersecurity certifications. So they're getting that experience, and they're also gaining and proving their capability and competency across, several domains in cyber. And then when they're through that pathway, they're able to roll off into a full-time role at United, and they not only know the domain, but they know the organization and our priorities, and they're able to navigate that first job in cyber a lot better or more successfully than they would kind of coming in cold. So we've had a lot of success with that, and we're going to continue to expand and leverage and grow that program and concept.
Yeah. Well, the theme of this year's conference is strengthening ecosystems and aligning stakeholders to bridge the cybersecurity workforce gap. And you kind of talked a little bit about what United is doing. What stakeholders did you have to, or do you have to consistently coordinate with to kind of make a program like what you're describing successful?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a commitment, at I'll say the highest levels of the organization across because technology and cyber are considered critical skills to keep United, competitive, innovative, and, in our case, secure and protected. So, we have a cross-functional group that works together with HR, with government affairs, with, community outreach, diversity and inclusion, right? And the technology experts to kind of put a comprehensive approach and consider all aspects. We just don't really look at it just as a talent pipeline, right? I mean, that's a benefit of what we're trying to do, but it's really a testament and our commitment to fostering that skills development, bridging skills gap in an increasingly competitive market, right? Job market in cybersecurity. There's zero unemployment with traditional talent and non-traditional talent. So we're really committed to that.
We'll be right back.
And now, a word from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Cyber attackers are using AI in creative ways to compromise users and breach organizations. In a security landscape where you must fight AI with AI, the best AI protection comes from having the best data. Zscaler has extended its zero-trust architecture with powerful AI engines that are trained and tuned by 500 trillion daily signals. Learn more about Zscaler Zero Trust Plus AI to prevent ransomware and AI attacks. Experience your world secured. Visit zscaler.com/zerotrustai.
I talk to folks from a lot of different organizations, and I feel like the answer always is a very wide spectrum of, this is top down, we have all this great buy-in. What advice do you have for those who feel really strongly about the issue, but maybe have not been able to form a dedicated and committed group within the organization that's kind of focused on that? Like, how do you kind of tell your, CISO peers, this is important and you kind of have to advocate for it and maybe get some other people bought in?
Yeah, and I think there are different programs, whether it be something like Year Up or a program like that in individual communities that organizations that don't have a talent pipeline initiative or a strategic skills development program at a company level, if it's just their department or they're trying to figure out how to solve their particular problem in their organizations, I would say definitely reach out to the community. There's apprenticeship programs that are being sponsored by even some of the government organizations as well to leverage that. And you can start small. See if that's successful, and then once you get that kind of going, then you'll be able to demonstrate that success and probably gain buy-in, right, to do something a little bit more scalable in your organization. And I would also say too is if you're a organization and maybe you're trying to recruit a handful of or fill gaps with a handful of cyber roles, look for, I'll say, opportunities with your peers, because it could be partnering with the engineering organization or with the IT organization or with whatever field service, whatever it is in your context that might have the same type of needs, but you can pull from the same type of resource pool, right, to accomplish and what you're all trying to do there.
Yeah. With the dynamic with NICE, and one of the things I think so interesting about NICE and the NICE conference is that it brings together government, academia, and industry to solve this problem, and to kind of keep going with that theme around stakeholders. And if we broaden that, how do you think we as a profession can be most successful when we talk about like engaging all three of those large stakeholder groups to really kind of tackle this issue across the board?
Yeah, I think the collaboration across those stakeholder groups is key. So really figuring out how collectively we can solve that problem and getting engaged. We didn't, even to meet our needs at United, like I mentioned, we worked with our government affairs folks to reach out to, the folks at NICE to see what we, how we could partner or what options we had to, accelerate some of the outcomes that we were trying to get. So I really do think that collaboration across those stakeholder groups is great. We continue to develop relationships with different universities and schools, even at high schools and different apprenticeship programs, and look for opportunities across the board that organizations are trying to accomplish the same outcomes, and we try to work collectively together.
Yeah. One of the things that I know, I've had a lot of conversations around with folks is when we talk about the talent and some of the workforce gaps that exist, that it's really more of an experience gap as opposed to a kind of a talent gap, meaning we have this greater need at like the mid and more experienced levels than we do for entry-level talent, which creates a little bit of a dichotomy because we have all these graduates who want entry-level jobs, but they can't get them. And at the same time, you can't kind of make room for them unless you get people to progress up. So how do you kind of view that conundrum?
Yeah, so I think it's important to make a conscious decision as the leader of an organization, as you look at your organizational strategy, to kind of reserve whatever amount of headcount you can, right? Even if it's just a handful, to continuously develop that pipeline, right? So you have to reserve space for those entry-level jobs and understand that if it's a person coming right out of college, if it's a person coming out of, an apprenticeship program, or if it's a person mid-career that's coming into a completely new domain, that you have to have a support structure that can make them successful and give them the skills, right, and experiences you need to be in that next role. So we really think about, those entry-level roles as not that you have to have 2 years of experience or whatever. Like, we're going to set you up to get that, and then you get technically your first job, right? Because otherwise that barrier to entry, and that is a problem. You see that all the time. You see commentary on social media or LinkedIn about, I have a cybersecurity degree, I've done these internships, or I've got these certifications on my own, and no one's willing to take a chance on me. So creating that space intentionally as a leader, even if it's one or two people, that's one or two positions, if that's all you can spare, is really, really important, and that's going to help. That kind of mindset and approach to organizational development is something I think that needs to be the norm going forward.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. What you're effectively saying is, growing a pipeline isn't just growing the pipeline to enter the position. It's you have to keep the whole pipeline flowing all the time. It's not just this, like, I think a lot of times we think about it as just this singular thing that they like get in the door and they're done, but it has to keep moving throughout like the development of all those roles and positions.
That's right. Yeah.
Danita, is there anything else that you wanted to maybe tease or highlight as far as what you'll be talking about at the conference here in the first week of June in Dallas, Texas?
Not to give the whole talk away, but I definitely will be giving the story of our approach and journey, and sharing some pretty unique and exciting success stories that we have had with our approach to the Cyber Pathway Innovate program, and developing our organization in a very unique time and industry. So it should be really cool for those of you who like cybersecurity, and maybe even those of you who are aviation geeks, as they call themselves.
Yeah. Well, no, incredible. And I'm sure that our audience, we have a sister podcast that actually deals with all things space and aviation, so mostly outer space. But I have a feeling that audience in particular will be very interested to hear how the intersection of security and aviation kind of comes to light. I'm really looking forward to your talk in June.
Great. I'm looking forward to being there and participating as well.
That's our special edition N2K CyberWire program. Thank you all for joining, and thanks to our special guest, Deneen DiFiore, for sharing their experience and insights. Remember, N2K Strategic Workforce Intelligence optimizes the value of your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your team while making your team smarter. Learn more at n2k.com. Our mixer is Trey Hester with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producers are Jennifer Iben and Brandon Karpf. Our executive editor is Peter Kilpie, and I'm Liz Stokes. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here soon.
Hey all, Rick here. At N2K CyberWire, we're dedicated to continuously improving the quality of the news and commentary on our network. That's why we're inviting you to participate in our 2024 audience survey. It only takes a few minutes, and your feedback is invaluable. Plus, you'll have the chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card as a thank you for your time. Head on over to cyberwire.com/survey. That's cyberwire.com/survey to share your feedback now.
And now, a word from our sponsor, 6sense. 6sense provides award-winning cloud-based automated endpoint and vulnerability management solutions to streamline IT and security operations. With its advanced platform, businesses gain complete visibility and control over their infrastructure, reducing IT and security risks and optimizing operational efficiency. With 6sense, you'll get real-time alerts, risk-based vulnerability prioritization and remediations, and an intuitive automation and orchestration engine so you can focus on your core business goals, confident in the knowledge that your enterprise is secure, compliant, and running smoothly. To learn why enterprises choose 6sense, visit 6sense.com.